Alright, what's up guys? So I'm editing a video right now for a client. Now I'm just doing some adjustments and getting the lighting good. So I thought I'd show you how I use masks to help darken or brighten the images. Instead of just using the wheels, a lot of people use masks for photos, but not many people that I've seen use masks for videos as well. I thought I'd go over how I use masking for videos. I'm using Final Cut Pro, but you can use any software. Okay, so here we are in Final Cut Pro. Now this is a reel I'm editing for a client right now. So what I'm gonna do is I've done some basic color adjustments. It's before and after. This scene here, I want it a little bit brighter. I want this a little bit brighter. And instead of just going into the color wheels and turning the highlights up, we can turn the highlights up until the skin tones look good, slightly, and then add a mask here. And then we'll just mask out the place where we want to brighten. Maybe just like that. And we'll fade it out a bit. So there, now only the center is brighter. So we only really want their faces and their bodies a bit brighter. We don't need the background brighter. And there's not too much movement in the scene. So these slow kind of movements, you can do a mask without tracking. If there's a lot of movement, you might need to track the mask. You can use the tracker up here and select a point and press analyze. There you go. So what it does is track whatever's inside that. So as you can see, it's not perfect, it's a bit jittery there, but the mask will move along with the footage and follow them. I'll do a before and after with this. See, without the mask, with the mask. So it darkens the outsides a bit more. It just lights up what's in the center. So that looks better. So we'll go to the next clip, lower that down a bit more. Before and after, just brighten that up because that's a little bit dark. So I've just brightened this up a bit. Little bit distracting the window. I might just bring the highlights slightly down. Now what you can do, I don't think it needs it, but what you can do for this is also go into color wheels and we can add a mask here. We can just add something like this, put in the corner, fade it out, and then we can just turn down the highlights a bit. So you get a faded kind of gradient coming in. Alright, so this shot here, I really want to draw the focus towards the book in the scene. And the edges are a little bit bright, and the book's a little bit dark. Again, color wheels, we're just going to brighten it up until the book looks a good brightness. Mask. I'm going to rotate this and give it like that kind of look. Add a bit of a fade. Gonna move this in, make it a bit smaller. Something like that. Now I'll show you before and after with that. So you can brighten up whatever part of the image you want to focus on. So I want the eyes to draw straight to that book here. So that's where I focused on. So yeah, you can play around with it. You can go through all the clips. This is pretty much what I'll do after I've pieced everything together. I'll add a adjustment layer on top with everything on it, and then I'll go through each individual clip. And if there's any slight adjustments I need to make, like lighting, skin tones, whatever it may be, I'll go through here and just make all the little adjustments instead of just slapping on a one and done over the top, which is good for blending clips together, but you got to remember every single clip is shot a little bit differently. Some of them you might have shot a little bit underexposed. Some of them could be a little bit overexposed. Using masking can help draw the eye to where you want them to look in the photo. So sometimes, especially when frames are cutting fast, someone might be looking in the bottom section of the frame because there's something there they want to pay attention to. And then the next frame, there's something in the top corner. And it's like sharp for your eyes. You know, like, where do I look? Where do I look? Masking can help just direct their eye to where you want them to look, which it gives it a more smooth feeling, a more enjoyable feeling of watching a video. So just subconsciously, you'll think that it looks more professional because you've enjoyed watching it a bit better. You use less, what's the word? Less brain power to figure out where to look in the image. You just know where to look. It's automatic. You don't have to think about it. They're the best videos when you use light painting to tell people where to look so they don't have to think about it themselves. It's just automatic. So that can turn a video from, you know, good to very good. Alright, so same with this one. What we can do as well, save adding a different one every time. It's very similar to this first clip here. So I'm just going to copy and paste that same mask on. Before, after. So you can see how the skin tones were slightly underexposed, which most people wouldn't even notice. But you add a little bit of lighting, you get their skin just looking a bit better. And if I press Command 7, you can see the RGB overlay here. And what we can also do is we can just go to crop, and I can show you. So that's his skin. So it's hitting 75 right now. So usually for skin tones, you want them 75 or under. And this shot right here, it's supposed to be bright, so I want it not high end. So 75, perfect. What we could even do is just very slightly bring it down to make sure it's not going over 75. Because usually skin tones, unless you're going for a very contrasty look, like there's a window and you want one side of their face to be really bright, you don't usually want skin tones over 75 because they're going to look overexposed. So here, we're just going to brighten the entire thing. So I'm just going to direct it like that. Get his face in it a little bit. And then brighten it up slightly. And now I'm just going to add one more. And I'm going to add it over this section down here, which is a little bit dark. So you got to remember not to go too crazy with brightening things up, because it's gonna introduce noise to your footage. So this level of brightening isn't going to make any difference. You're not going to notice anything. But if it's a really dark area, like really dark shadows or something, and you just crank the brightness up, you're going to see a lot of noise and grain start being introduced into your footage. So just keep that in mind. You know, the more accurate your lighting is in camera while filming, the easier this process is going to be. So I got very accurate. I'm just using masking to, as I said before, help direct the eye, help just evenly light everything up a bit, look a little bit more professional. So as you can see here, I'm just going to brighten this section up slightly. Just got to watch his hand doesn't get too overexposed. So maybe just bring the midtones up instead. Very slight, but you can add multiple masks in here. Now this image is a little bit overexposed. His skin looks a little bit bright here. So if we go to his skin tones here, just by looking at that, it looks a little bit overexposed. So if I go to crop here, and we just go over his face, you'll see it's peaking above 75. So we just want that down below 75. So we're just going to wheels, and we're just going to lower that down below 75. Just like that. So before and after. Now you can't always have it exactly on 75. It depends on the scene. That shot's slightly dark. I'm just going to go into here. Something like this. Fade it out. So it's still a little bit dark. Go up a bit more. Okay, so also you can brighten the center, but you can also invert the mask and use it to darken outside of the mask. So we'll just, yeah, we'll get a mask over the subject we want to focus on. Once they're the right brightness, we're going to click here and go down the bottom, invert. And now any adjustments will happen on the outside of the mask. So we can just bring down the brightness a bit. We'll make sure we fade it so it's not obvious. You can make him a little bit, make this mask a little bit smaller. I'll show you that. So that's before, after. So what we can do is even lower it a bit more for the video. And you get this kind of spotlight effect almost. So if there's something you really want to focus on, like say it's a face in amongst the crowd and you just want to focus on that face, you can use this effect on that, so then your eyes get drawn to that subject. Alright, so what you can do also is you can go into the Gaussian blur, add Gaussian blur, and you can do the same thing with this. You can do the same thing with this. Mask, go around him, click here, invert, and you can just focus on him. So make sure you fade it good, but something like that. So if you play this, see how focused it is on him? So maybe his arm was too much in focus, or which it isn't, but maybe there's something in the frame that's too much in focus and you just want it to really focus in on that subject. You can use this blurry effect. You can use this effect here to really focus in a bit more. So not only can you use masking for lighting, but you can also use it for any effects. It's like blur. We could go into prism. We'll add prism on. Add a mask. Now let's just go to, let's just invert this. And then you can only mask out the edges, just like that. So you can get some pretty cool effects. So you can use it for pretty much any effects, even color adjustments. Maybe you only want a certain part of the image saturated, things like that. So you can use this for a lot. Yeah, but they're the basics of how you can use masking to help light your videos better. Now, if you want to see a more in-depth video on this, I can go into more depth. I didn't bring any lighting to this shoot. It was just we're just working with the natural lighting in the environment. So I couldn't get the perfect lighting in camera. So using masking and things like that can help make it look a little bit more like you brought professional lights in. Obviously it's not going to look as good, but it'll look better than doing nothing. Pretty simple, but I don't feel like a lot of people know, or maybe they know but they don't use the masking in videos. Yeah, if you're not, definitely start using masking because you'll notice a big difference in the quality. As you know, with video and photo, lighting is everything. Lighting is very important in your videos, so I think even making these small adjustments, it makes a big difference. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what kind of videos you want to see. But yeah, thanks for watching.